Annabelle Comes Home is the third Annabelle movie. I don't know, what is this, the sixth Conjuring universe movie? Which is crazy to think that I would still be watching these films. I almost didn't go see this. We, got busy, had a lot of movies this summer, but then we had some extra time, went to our local theater. It was playing for 3 more days. We thought, hey, we'll check this out because, my daughter really loves scary movies. I'm not the biggest fan, but I've seen every Conjuring movie except for the first Annabelle. If you can go back and look at my review of Annabelle Creation, I think it was. I thought it was very average. Like it was kind of like the how Annabelle becomes Annabelle kind of thing. It never felt like there was really a story in that one, and it was just kind of horror scenes with a story loosely connected. But it wasn't horrible either. It's just I never really wanted to go back and rewatch this one. But this film, Annabelle Comes Home, I didn't really know anything about it. Matter of fact, I don't even think I saw a trailer for it. So I went in with no clue other than, hey, I saw the last Annabelle movie and I saw that horrible Nun movie, which I hated. So Conjuring Universe was kind of on a low for me, and I could say I left this movie on a kind of a high. I kind of enjoyed it. This one has a much simpler story. We're not trying to create something here. We're not really trying to tie it into anything, even though it kind of does tie into the Conjuring universe, because we do get Ed and Lorraine Warren back in this, and their daughter. And basically, it's them. The opening scene of the movie, they get Annabelle, they lock her down in their basement of horrors, and then they go off to do something. I can't remember what they even go off to do. They go on a trip, and their daughter has this babysitter, and they really get along. There's two main storylines here, but really, the two kind of backstory storylines is the babysitter has this friend who's recently lost her dad, and she kind of wants to try and communicate with her father. And then you have the Warren's daughter, who is kind of starting to get bullied at school because her parents are kind of weird, and she also kind of has her psychic, starting to understand that she has her psychic abilities like her mom. Those are kind of your two main storylines, but they all are at this house one night at their home, and something happens, and Annabelle gets loose, basically, and we have our horror film. I like the contained feeling of this one. I loved all the scenes that they had done for this one. It didn't feel like that last one where they just had horror scenes strung together for no reason. Which that one there was some really cool scenes, but it's just like the story was so bad. This one, the stories were actually interesting, and I was into them enough to where when we got to all the crazy horror and jump scares and crazy scenes, I was kind of into it. And there's several things going on here. It's not just Annabelle. There's just all kinds of different things happening, and it's kind of cool. I like the girl who's got the missing father. I don't know what her name was. It's nobody had seen before, and I liked McKenna Grace, who was in this. They were both, led a little bit. Usually they cast these things with no names, and those two were really good, and kind of surprised me. I even liked the babysitter character, and I just enjoyed their whole little chemistry together. They could have, went a little cliche with it, and they don't. The characters actually feel kind of real. It all takes place in a house, and they do feel trapped in this house, which is really nice, because a lot of horror movies, I'm always like, I would just leave. Well, they can't leave. So that's kind of cool. And it's scary. I jumped a lot and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're doing that. And kind of, was on the edge of the seat. So I enjoyed this more than I thought I would. As far as like horror movies recently, was it as good as like an It or the first two Conjurings? No, but it wasn't as bad as The Nun or the last Annabelle movie, and I still haven't watched that first one, so who knows? But I actually kind of enjoyed it. If you're a fan of the Conjuring universe and the Annabelle movies, go see it. I recommend it. This would be one I wouldn't mind actually seeing again. Maybe when we get our next Annabelle movie, I'll pop this in and rewatch it. So I'm going to give Annabelle Comes Home a 3.5 out of 5. Until next time, this is Rainy Cage. Peace out.